Hi, my name is Nikki Pet. I am a visiting scholar here at the Jacobs School, as well as the OECD's embedded entrepreneur. I'm a clarinet player. I'm currently doing my doctoral studies at the Yale School of Music. And I'm here with my sister.
Hi, my name is Kaitlin Pet. I am 2 years older than Nikki, and I am a Ph.D. at the Luddy School right now, where I am studying music informatics. In undergrad, I did a little bit of computer science, a little bit of biology, and then for grad school, my first foray into grad school was at the Hart School of Music, where I did a performance component in oboe. I decided didn't want to go full-time performer, but found this really, really cool research that was happening in IU in music technology. So that's what drew me here in the first place.
So something that I really am focusing on in my career right now is multimedia performance and developing new ways of performing, regular classical repertoire as well as new compositions with projections and visual imagery and moving imagery in the form of animation. And I was really drawn to this aspect of performance really as a way of connecting with audiences. So I also did not do my undergrad in music performance. I was a computer science major, and almost all of my friends were also non-performance majors. So they would come to my recitals, which were your standard clarinet, Brahms, Poulenc, etc. And they would show up and they'd cheer me on, but then I would make eye contact with them when I was performing, and it was just a complete blankness. The lights were off upstairs. They were there because they were my friends, not because they had any independent interest in the music that was being performed. And that continued until I did a production of Stravinsky's Soldier's Tale as a junior in undergrad, and that had the full narration and dancers, actors, costume, and one of such friends came up to me afterwards and said, I really wouldn't have otherwise enjoyed Stravinsky or been that interested, other than coming to support you. But I really got it, and I really enjoyed it. And that was a really meaningful experience in this performance that you just did. So for me as a performer, you can't hear anything better. We put in all of this effort, all of this time to create something that can resonate with people and share sort of the love we have for music with other people. And after the progression of not having that quite work out, for it to finally have landed was such a good feeling. So I knew I had to just keep exploring that aspect of performance. Then eventually we moved into more of the animation space, because that Stravinsky performance, it happened in 2019, and we had further performances lined up, but then of course 2020 hit, and we were all stuck inside for 2 or 3 years, especially as wind players. We were persona non grata as exhalers. So the natural progression was to move to digital productions and YouTube and animation, and to use that as a medium. But of course, things have opened back up, and coming back to live performance has proven an interesting journey, because during this online digital performance time, I've really settled into this style of very precise choreography and very precise alignment between the animation and the music. So sort of these small musical nuances have a precise visual reflection that happens in time and sort of conveys the shape of the phrase and the progression of musical story. Now, as you may know, achieving such careful synchronization in live performance, when you have musicians taking rubato, being flexible, being spontaneous, can be a challenge. Normally, people use click tracks, or there's someone manually operating on the cueing system behind the scenes. But those methods can be either logistically cumbersome or a little bit restrictive, especially with click tracks for the musician. So that's where my collaboration with Kaitlin really came into being. So she has designed a system that will basically flexibly speed up and slow down these animations so that careful alignment and choreography is preserved alongside a musician's rubato. So if I decide to go faster, the animation will speed up with me. If I decide to go slower, it'll slow down alongside me as well.
So yeah, we were trapped together at home during the pandemic, and I was working on something called automatic accompaniment systems with my advisor, Professor Chris Raphael. So what he works on is automatic audio-based accompaniment, which is, for example, you have a pre-recorded piano part in a sonata or a pre-recorded orchestral part in a concerto. And once you have that pre-recorded part, you can use machine learning to make the playback align in real time to a live student musician or any live musician. So as that musician is playing, they get the experience of playing a concerto without needing to find the whole orchestra to back them up. So I was working on this type of technology, looking into applications in new music, and then I was talking to Nikki about what she was working on, and we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could make animation do the same thing? So the musician could have that type of flexibility to play faster, play slower, and they wouldn't need to worry about aligning with the animation. The animation would align with them. So this leaves, as Nikki just said, it lets her be more creative. It lets her be more expressive. And we're about building tools that help promote musicians' expressivity and creativity. So yeah, I've been working on this for the past several years, iterating version by version. I actually did one of the first versions through the course at CECM. So we built the Max patch to do this control system. And yeah, right now we're still working on Max. Hopefully we'll go to another platform that's specific to what we're doing.
And it's so exciting right now because, as I mentioned earlier, the performance that really kicked off this interest in multimedia performance and exploration was the Stravinsky Soldier's Tale. And we're actually having a revamped version with animation of the Soldier's Tale to be performed here at Ford Hall on Sunday, November 2nd at 1 p.m. And we'd love for you to come join us if you're available. It's going to be a really exciting show. It'll have the musicians live, of course, fantastic ensemble that, Jacob's students, musicians, as well as narrator. We have an award-winning voice actor who's joining the faculty at the media school this coming semester. And of course, the live flexible animations that will tell the visual story alongside the musical story.
So as we were working on this technology, we thought about what if we could extend it past just us doing the performances? What if we could make this a tool that other musicians could use in order to enhance their own performances with live animation and not have to deal with that hassle of click tracks or cueing and all those other potential complications that could prevent a musician from being their full creative self on stage. And then I saw this opportunity from the Luddy School with the Chonglu competition, which looks at innovations in technology, and you go and you pitch your innovation. So I applied to that 2 years ago and won first place, which came with a $15,000 cash prize that has been funding our enterprises for the last few years. It's been really great interacting with the IU entrepreneurship community. You guys have fabulous resources and just getting to know other people who are on a similar journey.
Yeah, so for me, it's also been very exciting because one of the first things that happened when we started doing these multimedia performances, especially with the technology that Kaitlin and her advisor, Chris Raphael, have been developing. So the first question is, when can I use this? When can I try this? Can I incorporate similar things into my own performances? Which is really exciting for me because as a clarinetist, traditionally, the path is always thought to be, you audition for an orchestra or you get a teaching job. And those are sort of the two main pathways. But there's so much music that's beyond orchestral music and so many stories that people are so excited to tell about their solo or chamber repertoire that I want to do. And in doing these projects, I've also found such a great community of other people who want to do that as well. And one of the big reasons that I wanted to come to IU to be a visiting scholar is because I just feel like this, well, of course, in terms of collaborative energy, Kaitlin's here, of course. She's my main collaborator. But the general, I think, feeling of wanting to create new and innovative performances, wanting to branch beyond what is standard in the classical music world. There's such a strong vision for that here at IU. For example, the OECD, and being able to work with Alain and all of the people involved. It's such I would say it's a very unusual thing to have a place designed specifically for musicians and artists to come and develop more interdisciplinary skills and really explore their artistry in novel ways. And the great part is it's not just Jacobs that's doing this. It's Luddy that's doing this. There's IU Innovates. There's all these fantastic centers around campus that also talk to each other, it's just been such an unbelievable experience. And I'm very excited to be growing and developing in this environment.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been thinking about this for a while, of how technology plays into music. Because when I was in undergrad, a lot of people actually told me, Kaitlin, you play oboe, you're doing computer science, why not put them together? And I was incredibly resistant to the idea. I was like, music is music, technology is technology. Why would I ever want to combine these two things? But now, as I've grown more mature and seen how this industry works and how it's developing, we really are in an age of opportunity as musicians. A lot of people worry about AI being disruptive, AI taking away jobs. The music industry's already seen that wave of recorded music. It's shown that it is resilient to this type of technological change and able to embrace it in order to help move forward. And I think this new wave of AI is very similar. As human creatives, we can take these tools to boost our creativity. And if we use it in a way that boosts us instead of using it in a way that supports the technology, it can do great things. What we're doing with this technology is bringing classical music to an audience that a few years ago the community would have never dreamed possible.
And I would say that it's not just for audiences that we're aiming to impact with what we're doing here. It's the artists themselves. I think one of the really fantastic things about new technology is that oftentimes it's a lot cheaper and more lightweight than a lot of these more traditional methods of performance. So whereas in the past, Disney's Fantasia, for example, I think it cost a couple $1 million in 1940 or 1939 when it was created. It's probably, I don't know how many millions those are in today's dollars. But you have a team of animators, you have, orchestra, you have all these people working on it. And while I can't claim that the quality of my work is anywhere close to Fantasia, I can make something similar using almost entirely free software. I have my own computer. I'm the only person working on it. And that certainly wouldn't have been possible in 1940. And that's just with the technology that already exists. And I think it's, in a way, there's this democratization of creating art and creating performance, so that my vision for the future with our company and our score following animation software is that if anyone wants to produce a multimedia performance, they can. If they say something just simple as slides that will automatically flip between movements, or full-on projection set design for a community theater show, my hope is that we can provide a solution to bring these more immersive and multisensory performances, especially to creators and performers who just don't have the big budget, big resources that traditionally were the only thing that would enable these more complex shows.